Field Marshal has been the highest rank in the British Army since 1736. A 5-star rank with NATO code of 10. It is equivalent to an admiral of the fleet in the Royal Navy or a marshal of the Royal Air Force in the RAF. A field marshal's insignia consists of 2 crossed batons surrounded by yellow leaves below St. Edward's crown. As with marshals of the Royal Air Force and admirals of the fleet in the respective services, field marshals remain officers of the British Army for life, though on half-pay when not in an appointment. The rank has been used sporadically throughout its history and was vacant through parts of the 18th and 19th centuries. After the Second World War, it became standard practice to appoint the Chief of the Imperial General Staff to the rank on his last day in the post. Army officers occupying the post of Chief of the Defence Staff, the professional head of all the British Armed Forces, were usually promoted to the rank upon their appointment. In total, 140 men have held the rank of Field Marshal. The majority led careers in the British Army and the British Indian Army, rising through the ranks to eventually become a Field Marshal. Some members of the British royal family, most recently Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, and Charles, Prince of Wales, were promoted to the rank after shorter periods of service. 3 British monarchs, George V, Edward VIII, and George VI, assumed the rank on their accessions to the throne, while Edward VII was already a Field Marshal, and 2 British consorts, Albert Prince Consort and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, were appointed by the respective queens. Other ceremonial appointments were made as diplomatic gestures. 12 foreign monarchs held the honour, though 3 were stripped of it when the countries became enemies of Britain and her allies in the 2 world wars. Also awarded the rank were 2 distinguished foreign military officers, honoured for their contributions to World War I and World War II respectively, and 1 foreign statesman. A report commissioned by the Ministry of Defence in 1995 made a number of recommendations for financial savings in the armed forces budget, one of which was the abolition of the 5-star ranks. Part of the rationale behind the recommendation was that the ranks of Field Marshal, Admiral of the Fleet and Marshal of the Royal Air Force were disproportionate to the size of the forces commanded by these officers, and that none of the United Kingdom's close allies, such as the United States, used such ranks. The recommendation was not taken up in full, but the convention of promoting service chiefs to 5-star ranks was stopped, and the ranks are now reserved for special circumstances. Sir Peter Inger was, in 1994, the last active officer to be promoted to the rank. Inger relinquished the post of Chief of the Defence Staff in 1997, and his successor, Sir Charles Guthrie, was the first officer not to be promoted upon appointment as Cedis. The most recent promotions to Field Marshal came in 2012, 18 years after the moratorium on routine promotions to the rank, when Queen Elizabeth II promoted Prince Charles, her son and heir apparent to the throne, to the 5-star ranks in all 3 services, in recognition of support provided for her in her capacity as Commander-in-Chief of the British Armed Forces. At the same time, Guthrie, who relinquished the post of Cedis and retired from active service in 2001, was promoted to Honorary Field Marshal. In June 2014, former Chief of the Defence Staff Lord Walker of Aldringham was also promoted to Honorary Field Marshal. Insignia of Rank. The rank insignia of a Field Marshal in the British Army comprises 2 crossed batons in a wreath of oak leaves, with a crown above. In some other countries, historically under the sphere of British influence, an adapted version of the insignia is used for Field Marshals, often with the crown being replaced with an alternative cultural and national emblem. On appointment, British Field Marshals are awarded a gold-tipped baton which they may carry on formal occasions. List of Field Marshals. The vast majority of officers to hold the rank of Field Marshal were professional soldiers in the British Army, though 11 served as officers in the British Indian Army. At least 57 Field Marshals were wounded in battle earlier in their careers, of whom 24 were wounded more than once, and 8 had been prisoners of war. 15 future Field Marshals were present at the Battle of Vittoria, where the Duke of Wellington earned the rank, and 10 others served under Wellington at the Battle of Waterloo. However, only 38 held independent commands in the field, and just 12 served as Commander-in-Chief of the forces or Chief of the Imperial General Staff during a major war. 4 Field Marshals, Sir Evelyn Wood, Sir George White, Earl Roberts, and Lord Gort, had previously received the Victoria Cross, the United Kingdom's highest and most prestigious award for gallantry in the face of the enemy. Wood, a famously injury-prone officer, was awarded the VC for 2 actions in 1858 in which he first attacked a group of rebels in India and later rescued an informant from another group of rebels. White, a cavalry officer, led 2 charges on enemy guns in Afghanistan in 1879, while Gort, of the Grenadier Guards, commanded a series of attacks while severely wounded during the First World War in 1918. Roberts received his VC for actions during the Indian Mutiny. Wellington, 44 at the time of his promotion, was the youngest non-royal officer to earn the rank of Field Marshal. Charles Moore, 1st Marquess of Drogheda, was the oldest, promoted at the age of 91, while a further 23 officers were promoted to Field Marshal in their 80s. Wellington was also the only Field Marshal to become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, though several others served as cabinet ministers. No officer whose career was spent in the British Army has ever reached the rank of Field Marshal without having served in the Cavalry, Infantry, Royal Armoured Corps, Royal Artillery or Royal Engineers. 2 non-British officers have been appointed Field Marshals in the British Army, Ferdinand Foch of France and Sir Thomas Blamey of Australia, in recognition of their contributions in the First and Second World Wars respectively, while only one, Sir William Robertson, held every rank in the British Army, from private soldier to Field Marshal.